Everybody, today President Trump has just exposed Congress. They've released an actual post of the Democrats' dirty little secret that you won't believe. I'm telling you, this is as sickening as it gets, disgusting, coming from a party that's supposed to be for the people, serving we the people. We have the details to show you that the Democrats are trying to push through a judge to not fund the military the way that Trump wants to fund it through the tariff revenue. Listen to this. They say that only Congress can appropriate money. The new revenue that Trump has brought in through the tariff revenues, well, he wants to use to make sure that our troops get paid, and now the Democrats are fighting him on this. You cannot make this up, guys. This is as disgusting as, you cannot, I would never fathom the Democrats would go this far to keep money from our troops that are fighting to save and make sure that our country is safe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Trump always finds a way to take care of America first. But the Democrats are saying that they will not push forward with any funding for anything unless they get their funding of their $1.5 trillion approved, their slush fund accounts. It's wasteful, it's sickening, and it's wrong. On top of that, J.B. Pritzker has just said this. I'm telling you, there's no filter anymore. Today is this news is as insane as it gets, but we needed all this to happen because what you're about to see next is such a win for MAGA. He just said out loud that they will be charging ICE agents in Chicago and those that worked with Trump's administration once the Democrats are back in power. He said, we may not be able to do it today, but there will come a time soon where we will go after these people. Do you hear this? This is coming from a sitting governor of the United States of America. Just like the January 6th protesters, the Democrats said that they will go after the ICE agents for doing their job. And to make matters worse, new information has been revealed that the January 6th committee collected 30 million lines of phone data from Jan 6ers to find the truth. But really, it was to identify every American who ever contacted or worked with the Trump White House or administration or who was at the January 6th protest. It is mind-blowing, the news that I've got for you today. The White House has unveiled a slew of criminal illegal migrants are still on Medicaid as we are in a shutdown over health care. There is still a ton of criminal illegal migrants still on the taxpayers' dime health care. Mexico cartels are working with Chicago gangs and local Antifa cells to identify and assassinate ICE and CBP officials. The cartels that are flush with the drug money and cash, they are depending on the intelligence provided by the street-level gang members to attack ICE and their leadership. This is no joke, guys. This is as bad as it gets. And you think, I'm telling you what, you think that the California Democrats couldn't go any farther? A lot of outrage is erupting right now as Los Angeles County has declared an emergency announcing rent relief for people who were supposedly falling behind on their payments because of immigration raids using taxpayer-funded dollars. You cannot make this up, guys. Golly. And New York Attorney General Tish James has just been caught harboring a wanted woman living in her investment property. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not her investment property. That's her primary residence, but she's listed as an investment property. All this stuff that's coming out today, the Democrats' dirty little secret, guys, I'm telling you, we are ready for it. We're going to bring you the details today, show you the receipts. Today's a big show. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching. To all of our subscribers, thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want you. We want to take care of you every day with the breaking news. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, those that have given. This is only possible in our giving because of you. And what I'm talking about is on the 22nd of every single month, we give to a local charity live on stream. and we show you the receipt. This is real, everybody. And to me, it just makes my heart so happy because we have the best chat, the best people. I love it. We're partnering together and we're making positive change. I want to give some special love to those that have given Larry Foley. Show Larry some love in the chat, as well as OG Elaine Demeen. Show Elaine some love. And Steve Martoni, welcome to the family. Show Steve some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button. This is a big show today, guys. I'm telling you. This is disgusting what we have revealed, what we are going to reveal today. How far the Democrats are going. They're saying the quiet part out loud. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Listen to this.
Great example of that, Illinois' governor, power, as Trump said, thrown out of his family business. Purely incompetent, very dangerous rhetoric. Just an all...
Let me tell you this. The stuff and the rhetoric and the stuff coming from the Democrats right now, look at this. Democrats are now wanting to block the president from funding our troops and protecting vulnerable Americans with tariff revenue, all while keeping the government shut down to push free healthcare for illegal aliens. Right here. This is the quiet part out loud. I'm reading it to you. That they said House Democrats largely told Axios in interviews Thursday night that they disagree with Johnson's assessment of Trump's actions are legal and seeking through the Judiciary Committee whether they can fight against Trump appropriating tariff revenue to pay for the military troops. Is this not disgusting? Like, you can't win with these people. You cannot come to common grounds with them. Take care of our troops. Take care of the people that are trying to make sure our country is safe. And this is what they're fighting with about. New money that they can't get their grimy, greedy little hands on. The tariff revenue. Now they don't even want it to go to our troops. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We're bringing the receipts today. This is straight from the White House Post. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. This is big, everybody. Jeffrey Hatt, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. OG of the channel said the Democrats only care about communist power. They will come after all conservatives if they get back in power. 100%. He just said it on live TV, everybody. You can't make it up. I just showed you. He said, we're going to go after them as soon as we get back in power. What more targeted lawfare is it than that? PDX 67, let's go with the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Show PDX 67 some love in the chat. Let's go. I love it. Growing the family, growing the voice. We need to, everybody. This fight is getting worse and worse because let me just show you this. Remember the teen who was working with the administration to cut Doge? I mean, not to cut Doge, but worked at Doge, cutting wasteful spending? Well, guess what? Remember whenever he was attacked for trying to defend a woman from allegedly being raped and hurt? The guys that attacked him, they avoided jail sentences. They only got probation. I'm going to show you a chart that is being fought right now in the Supreme Court where you're going to hear in just a moment over what's going to happen because this could change everything. Right here, this is the Democrats' dirty little secret, everybody, that they have created. They have gerrymandered. They have stolen elections with what you see here. On the current map, look how much blue there is. And that's from DEI racial-based districts to give racial-based districts more power. So think about it like this. They say, well, 13% of America is black, okay? They're trying to give them more representation. 13% of the population should have representation of 13% of the population, not 35 or 40. It makes no sense, okay? But this is what the current map looks like. And now, with the Supreme Court fighting on this, and there's a very, very high 90+% chance it's gonna be revoked. This is the new map on the right. Look at how much more red it is. This is the real America. This is what common sense looks like. This is without the Democrats' DEI, racial-based districting, all their little finagling of all the numbers to try and make sure that they get seats. I'm telling you, a red wave is coming, baby. This is the evidence, and this is what you're about to hear in just a moment. Because if you are black and you watch us, okay, you're going to get even more upset because Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Jackson literally compared black people to disabled people and said that's why they don't have access to voting systems, and that's why we need to represent them more, is because they're like disabled people. She says it, everybody. You're going to hear from her own voice. You cannot make up how horrible these people are sounding, even from the Supreme Court. Jog Halls 1, welcome to, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Show Jog Hall some love in the chat, as well as Michelle Eisner. LOL, I love it. Michelle, you are awesome. Show Michelle Eisner some love in the chat, member of the channel. And don't forget to show PDX67 some love if you got a free membership from them. I'm telling you, we are coming after them.
And a car crash during it inspired an entire crowd in this neighborhood of Chicago to surround agents to the point where they were so threatened that they used tear gas. That is how effectively parts of this country, especially our big blue cities, are being brainwashed by this immigration propaganda.
And I'm telling you this, everybody, we're bringing the receipts today. We're showing you some insane stuff that's going on. You cannot make up how bad this is getting. They're using taxpayer-funded dollars right now to fund, look at this, the raids that are going on in California. They have provided an evocation moratorium for illegals, expands access to $30 million in emergency rent relief programs for illegals. They've launched applications will be available via online portal launching within 2 months, so that no need to disclose immigration status to qualify for this rent relief. You cannot make this stuff up. They're even gonna allow temporary waivers on fees for essential services like utilities and healthcare for illegals. All this is happening right now. You cannot make up how much they are fighting for somebody that's not even a citizen of this country, because they need to. They need to so bad, because listen to how they speak about their own constituents when it comes to the actual Supreme Court. Like, I'm telling you, when I heard this, I said, you have got to be kidding me. No way did she just compare black people not being able to vote to being disabled. Listen to this.
I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand.
This is her making the case on whether majority black congressional districts is actually racial gerrymandering.
And why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled.
Joke.
In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
She just said that black people are disabled because they don't have access to voting. Who's stopping them? What police are out there? What military are out there trying to keep black people from voting or taking time to go to the dang voting rolls? And you're even allowed by your employer. They cannot stop you from taking time to go vote. Again, this is what you just heard from Ketanji Jackson, a Supreme Court justice, that comparing black people, comparing them to disabled people. Literally, I would be furious if I was black. And she's black. This is so messed up. They think it's just So disrespectful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what because this is insane. I hope you're appreciating this, guys. Well, I'm telling you, their dirty little secrets are coming out and we're exposing them all. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support. Deborah Gomez, thank you so much. Said that they Democrats want to print money just so they can support illegal aliens and bankrupt America. These people are communists who hate America. 100%. If you do not put Americans first, you are America last. Show Deborah Gomez some love in the chat, as well as Sweet Kitten some love in the chat for the super chat. Let's go. Members of the channel, I love it. Show them some love in the chat. Don't forget to show Michelle Eisner and PDX67 some love in the chat as well. And what you're about to hear is our boy, our favorite. I love this. I'm telling you. Because again, you only get the truth when you are able to say the hard things.
What role did Robinson play in the development of SB 8?
Justice Thomas, Robinson is the only reason SB 8 exists. We fought tooth and nail in the Robinson litigation itself in telling the courts that we did not think the Constitution permitted us to draw a second majority black district. As you know, under protest, we drew SB 8 because the threat was that the federal courts were going to do it if we didn't. And that's, I think that's the best way to conceive of why SB 8 exists. We would never pass SB 8 in the first instance without Robinson, Justice Thomas.
What were the findings in Robinson?
The finding by the Middle District in Robinson was that the plaintiffs in this case were likely to show a violation of Section 2, and the likely violation, and I'm using very broad terminology because I do not know what the underlying violation is. I can't articulate that for you, Justice Thomas, because I don't think anybody can. But I think the finding in the district court's mind in that case was that the likelihood of a Section 2 violation meant that a majority black district was required, a second one. And I think that was the bottom line, and when our legislature saw that, we understood the marching order, and that's why you see SB 8 as it exists today.
Just briefly, what were the findings that led to that conclusion?
Well, Your Honor, running through the preconditions and the totality of the circumstances, I think the totality of the circumstances did most of the work for the Middle District in Robinson. Senate Factor 1, the official history of past discrimination, Justice Thomas, we can never outrun the bad era of poll taxes, of grandfather clauses, of literacy tests. I think we're always going to lose across the board on that kind of analysis, and that's what the Middle District in Robinson focused on, is how bad was Louisiana in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and, add all that together, and at the end you have a vote dilution finding that I don't think is clearly articulable in the way that SFFA requires a finding of discrimination to be specified.
Wow. Isn't that insane? That everything that we see nowadays is based from old reporting. Now it's not there. It doesn't exist. The guy literally said we cannot find it. It's like there's nothing there, but we're following and doing what we're told. And this right here, I'm telling you, this is sourced from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. I hope you appreciate this, y'all, because we bring the receipts. Go check me out. Fact check me. Look at the deportations under Clinton. Look at this. Deportations, over 12 million. George W. Bush, over 10 million. Obama, over 5 million. Trump's first term, under 2 million. Biden, 4 million. Trump's second term, right at 2 million, yet he has the lowest numbers out of everybody, but now he's a fascist. Now he's a fascist for using ICE to deport. Guys, the charts, the data doesn't lie. This is the media narrative. This is why we are here. We bring in the truth. We're showing you the receipts. We're sick and tired of narratives and media lying when Trump's just trying to do what is right to put America first. Funny Girl, let's go with the super chat. Member of the channel said, I appreciate your channel so much and look forward every day. God bless you and your family. Joel, God bless you, Funny Girl. Show Funny Girl some love in the chat. Thank you so much for your faithful support. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Show PDX67 some love in the chat. Said, we have the victory. Amen. A member of the channel, show PDX67 some love. Also, if you got a free membership from them, Monique Sanderson, thank you so much. Said, please get 11B777 out of this chat. He's using racial slurs. Well, that's about to be, you know what I love is that, thank you so much. We want a clean chat. We don't, and this is my chat, okay? You can go somewhere else if you want to be racist or if you want to curse or somebody. But on this channel, I have a family-friendly chat. You can complain about anybody else, but we don't do personal attacks against anybody in the chat. And we don't want cursing or anything like that. So let me look into that, because again, too, if there is stuff, I will block you in a heartbeat. All right. Want to say thank you so much to, thank you also for that super chat. That means so much. Look at this, guys. Guess what? It's done. I don't stand for that. We want to bring the truth. You can complain and voice your opinion about anything that's happening out there, but there's no personal attacks against me or personal attacks against anybody in the chat. Friendly discourse. That's what we want on this channel. Midnight Toker, welcome to the family. Let's go. Show Midnight Toker some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Monique. It means a lot to us, your faithfulness, membership to the channel, and helping us out with the moderating. I love it. Want to say, too, as we continue to fight this fight, everybody, everything that's coming out, we just got some huge news over insider news in Congress, over investigations that are happening pertaining to Jan 6. Like, I'm telling you, all the truth's coming out, and it's just so sad that one party has literally caused so much devastation here in our nation. Listen to this.
John Solomon, I don't know what I'd like more. Joe Scarborough teaching us about the New Testament, or Jack Smith. Yeah. No, Jack Smith and Andrew. You're about to drop a bomb here. Or Jack Smith and Andrew Weissman, who for some reason thought it was great to go for, I think, 2-hour live interview between each other, lecturing, Scarborough lecturing you about Christianity, or Andrew Weissman and Jack Smith lecturing you about the rule of law. It's so pick 'em, right? They're both amazing and insane. But you've got the prices. So I want to talk about all those unctuous guys up there about the rule of law, no kings, Donald Trump, authoritarian. And this just shows you, Trump could bring peace to the entire world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's nothing he can do, folks. Nothing. He brings peace, the framework for peace. In a cockpit they've been fighting for 3,000 years of these ancient vendettas, even before the birth of Christianity, even before the birth of Islam, right? Those guys have been over there getting it on. And he brings a framework for peace. He's back, and all they're doing is ripping him to try to get millions of people down in the streets on Saturday for no kings. I want to, but you've got reality. Tell me about reality, because it's so jaw-dropping. You're so gobsmacked off this story you're about to reveal. It's up on Just the News, that people just sit there and go, this whole system's so corrupt, I don't even know where you start bringing it down. John Solomon, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, well, first, that open sizzle was fantastic, because it reminds us that news shows have stopped being about news and about proselytizing and about propaganda and about disinformation. I thought it was a brilliant open today, because it shows me, I don't watch those shows anymore. I didn't realize how far down the slope they've gone, but they're not news shows anymore. They're just propaganda. Just crazy. And I don't know if I feel good about hearing that, but it was worth watching, I'll tell you that. Let's give you some real news. Let's give you something that matters. It matters to civil liberties. All right, we know about the intrusions that the NSA program had on our private phone conversations. We know about these senators a couple of weeks ago that we broke the story about, whose phone records were being rifled through by the FBI. 8 senators, 1 House member, all Republicans. But there is a far larger dragnet sweeping up Americans' phone records in the name of investigating January 6th. It turns out that the January 6th Democrat Select Committee actually gathered 30 million lines of phone records. That is a monstrous amount of phone records. Basically, according to the FBI document that I was allowed to see and write about, it was every phone call coming into the switchboard of the Trump White House. Now, you wouldn't need that to solve anything in January 6th, but you would need it if you were trying to figure out who was MAGA and who wasn't MAGA in America, who was calling the White House and who wasn't calling the White House, who was getting past the switchboard to the internal lines, meaning the insiders, the people that had access, the people who might talk to a president or his staff. That is not a legitimate function of congressional oversight. But Congress used a subpoena, and the phone companies just burped them up and turned them over. 30 million lines of data. I think this will become one of the greatest civil liberty stories that we've had in our lifetime, because now we know it wasn't just 8 lawmakers. It was a monstrous body of documents, basically looking at anyone that was having contact with the Trump White House. Now, let's take it a step further. They finished this work in 2022 because Democrats get thrown out in the election. A year later, they're trying to give it to the FBI, who could never get this amount of phone data themselves. It's too broad. And they're trying to slip it to them on the eve of the 2024 election. That is not only civil liberties, it's a politicalization of your and my phone data.
You just heard that, everybody. Again, how much did they try to fight, steal, that we already know the 2020 was rigged, and then they try to do it again in 2024? I'm telling you, y'all, if we aren't laying down the bombshell news today. Gator Presley, thank you so much for the super chat. Said this is a great Patriot family to be proudly a member of. Let's go. Member of the channel. Show Gator Presley some love in the chat. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. And I want to move real quick into our sponsor, everybody. Today is a big day, October the 15th. If you are on Medicare or about to be on it, you can call our friends up at Chapter. They compare every single plan, and you know me, everybody, you hear me every single day. I don't play around when it comes to taking care of our own, especially on this channel, with the truth and with things that are going to help you out. They have saved seniors on average $1,100 a year. They compare every single Medicare plan. There's a lot of Advantage plans that are about to go away, and now people are going to be switching to the new 2026 plans. They can help you out because there's so many. You got to get the right coverage. You want to make sure you're only spending what you need to spend. You call 667-895-3015. You tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. They're going to take care of you, everybody. And you know me. All I care about is that we put Americans first. We take care of our seniors. We take care of our kids. We take care of our own. And I love it because this company does this. And they wouldn't be a sponsor if I didn't believe in them and know that they actually do what they say they're going to do. So again, call them up, 667-895-3015. They're going to get you taken care of when it comes to your Medicare. I wanted to show you this, everybody. The White House has unveiled criminal illegal migrants on Medicaid as shutdown over healthcare continues. They're still on there, guys. There's still a ton of them on there. And not only that, I got good news because, again, the whole Charlie Kirk thing, this happened, it kills me every time I say his name. But things are moving in the right direction. Christianity is rising in the United States with Bible sales up 41.6% since 2022. We got to get back to our roots, everybody. We can't let the evil win. We have to overcome evil with good. And this, to me, is we're finally making some strides in the right direction to expose the darkness. Listen to this.
Solomon's with us. John, I want to, if you can just hit replay on the scale of this and how they later tried to weaponize against President Trump. But I just want to remind people, I don't talk about my case on the show. I've filed for cert to the Supreme Court, and one of the aspects I've argued all the way through is that this was not a the Constructions Committee was unlike anything they'd ever done in the history of the House. You didn't have a ranking member, and you didn't have minority counsel. And the reason that's important is that you get all this is why the thing, we didn't get any of the witness tests. You couldn't cross-examine. You didn't get any the testimony beforehand. But if you had had that, John, it'd have been impossible to do what they did because the minority counsel would have blocked it. They would have said that's impossible. Right. So this is the problem with having
certainly would have
Nancy
exposed
Pelosi
it in real
run it.
time.
And by the way, and Liz Cheney's out of Congress, Kissinger's out of, they're all out. They're all exposed. They don't have the debate clause right now to protect them. Am I correct on that?
That's really important. Let me just walk you through a quick timeline. So the committee gets up and running in 2022. They go out and get this massive dragnet of phone records, 30 million. You don't need 30 million phone calls to figure out what was going on January 6th. What were they doing? They were mapping the MAGA movement with every piece of data they could. It was basically creating an enemies list. That's what the J6 committee was doing in this project. And think about the scope and scale of what they've now done. 30 million lines of phone records trying to figure out everybody who talked to the Trump White House. 92 groups, including Charlie Kirk's TPUSA and everybody else in the conservative movement. 8 members of Congress in the Senate, 1 member of the Congress in the House. They were mapping an enemies list. This was an investigation purportedly to solve what happened at the Capitol that instead was trying to figure out who are the movers and shakers in the MAGA movement that we can stop in 2024. Now, that plot gets stopped by the American people in December 2022 because Americans choose Republicans, Republicans come in, the Democrats get thrown out of the House. A year later, when Adam Kinzinger is no longer a member of the committee, he's no longer a member of the House. He no longer has protection of the speech and debate clause. He's calling up the FBI and trying to give them these records, which, by the way, the FBI would never have been able to get this large a swath of records. It's just too broad a request, right? There wouldn't be a legitimate investigative need for that many records. He's trying to say, hey, I don't know, but let's just get them to you guys. He's making that call in December of 2023, 4 years after most of the cases have already been brought in January 6th. Why is he doing that? He's not doing it for some legislative purpose. He's not doing it for some criminal purpose, because J6 is mostly solved by that point. He's doing it to try to give the FBI one more piece of weaponry to stop Donald Trump from winning the presidency in 24. That's what is so concerning. It's a civil liberties violation that then gets politically weaponized by offering it to the FBI.
Wow.
John Solomon, your story's up on Just the News. Where can people go to get the show, podcast?
Let me tell you this, everybody. The stuff, oh my goodness. Every single day. You know, I want to just show you what we're fighting against, because this is evil. Somebody posted again the updates of where things are at. Black Pride is a movement encouraging people to take pride in being black. Gay Pride is a positive stance against discrimination and violence. Asian Pride is a positive stance of being Asian American. White Pride is a slogan primarily used by white supremacists and neo-Nazis, signals racist viewpoints. So again, it's like it's an attack, everybody, and it is disgusting. It's not right. We need to get better at this, and it is mind-blowing what we are continuing to see. Jim Barbato, let's go with the super chat. I love it. He said, wait for it. Let's go. Member of the channel. Show our boy Jim some love in the chat, everybody. Big stuff. We want to give you the update again. Happening every day. Stuff is happening behind the scenes. We just showed you earlier that the Democrats are literally fighting against Trump paying the military with tariff revenue, guys. It's sick. It's disgusting. Listen to this.
Welcome, everybody. We're on day 15 of the Democrat government shutdown. Not a good day on Capitol Hill, not a good day across America, because real Americans are feeling the pain due to the Democrats' political nonsense. And we want to specifically focus this morning on one area that's gotten a lot of attention, and one segment of the population that truly deserves better treatment than the Democrats are giving them, and that is our military. Today, if it weren't for the bold leadership of President Trump helping us to protect our military, everyone needs to understand that 1.3 million active duty service members would be missing a paycheck. They'll get their check, thankfully, because President Trump has shown strong leadership. And under his direction, the Department of War has now redirected unspent funds to ensure that our troops are taken care of. And this is while Democrats are playing political games. Last night, they played some games. They stormed my office. Maybe you saw some of the video online that they themselves shared, or someone did. They berated a Capitol Police officer, screamed at him. He was just merely standing his post. Shows again their disdain for law enforcement, as we see all around the country, the Democrats and everyone in that party, screaming, assaulting ICE officers. They did it right here in the Capitol last night. A few members of Congress went into the little foyer of my office and tore down a sign that I had up and just engaged in all sorts of political stunts and antics. They've been doing that every day now, and it shows their desperation. It also shows...
Did you just hear that? A group of people stormed into his office foyer to try and protest because he won't swear in a Democratic representative. And I'm telling you what, everybody, this is so one-sided. Look at this right here. Look at this. They stormed into his foyer office, tore down a sign. Does this make any sense, doing this to a Speaker of the House? Like, are you even kidding me? He said, Patrick Trebet, let's go with the super chat. I love it. Member of the channel. Hey, Patrick's an OG. He said, thanks, Joel. I'm saving over $650 a year on Medicare costs through Chapter. I love it. Hey, show Patrick some love in the chat. That's what I'm saying, everybody. Let Chapter help you out. Get some help from Chapter. The link is in the description. If you want to call them up, the number is 667-895-3015. Call them up. Let them know that I sent you from TrueLife News. They're going to take care of you. Thank you so much, Patrick. Show Patrick some love in the chat. They're going to take care of you, everybody. But I'm telling you, this is crazy what we are seeing from the Democrats. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, everybody, thank you so much for your support.
A very strong contrast between the party that is working for the people and trying to keep the government open and do the right thing, and the party that is engaging in all this nonsense. But they've shown by their actions and now their votes multiple times. Now, 9 times the Democrats have voted, counting the House and the Senate Democrats, they have voted to not pay the troops. They have voted to block their paychecks. And it's very serious stuff, and they don't seem to care at all. The problem we have right now is that in spite of President Trump's heroic efforts to make sure they get paid, that is a temporary fix because the executive branch's help is not permanent. It can't be. And if the Democrats continue to vote to keep the government closed, as they have done now so many times, then we know that U.S. troops are going to risk missing a full paycheck at the end of this month. And that means service members on deployment who've left their young families back home, relying upon these checks. It means service members who are thousands of miles away from home. It means service members trying to make their rent and those who have ailing relatives that need to be taken care of. None of those people will be paid if the Democrat obstruction continues. And it should outrage every American because it does us. Democrats in Congress, again, have voted 9 times. Here's the tally. Every single time the Republicans have voted to pay the troops, and by the way, all other federal employees, federal workers, and the Democrats have voted over and over to stop it. And the depressing irony of this, on this particular subject, among all others, is that the most pro-shutdown Democrats actually represent the most active duty service members back home, whom they have taken hostage in this insidious political game. And I want to give you a couple of examples, and this is the actual statistic of the 10 states with the largest military populations. 6 are represented each by 2 Democrats in the Senate who are withholding the paychecks. Here's the list. In California, it's home to 157,000 active duty personnel, the most in the country. Those stationed at Fort Hunter Liggett and Camp Pendleton and Edwards Air Force Base and Vandenberg Space Force Base and others will all miss a paycheck at the end of the month if Democrat obstruction continues. Now, this is worthy of note. Both California senators, Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla, are gleeful about this government shutdown. They agree with Chuck Schumer when he said very candidly just a few days ago, every day of the shutdown gets better for us. Who's the us? He's talking about Democrats. He thinks this is assisting their party and giving him political cover so he doesn't attract a Marxist challenger in his next Senate reelect. That's what this is about. So he thinks the government shutdown is allowing him to show a fight against President Trump and Republicans, and he is happy about that. And so are Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla, while service members are going without paychecks. Virginia is home to 119,000 active duty personnel. It is the second most in the country. Those stationed at Naval Station Norfolk, Quantico, and Fort A.P. Hill, and others will miss paychecks at the end of this month if this is not resolved. Both Virginia senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner are playing political games with the paychecks of 119,000 service members. Georgia's home to 65,000 active duty personnel. It's the 6th most in the country. Those stationed at Fort Benning, Fort Stewart, Moody Air Force Base, and others will miss paychecks. And just last week, this is so aggravating to us. It's so frustrating to us. It's so wrong. But we saw service members waiting hours in lines wrapped around the block at Georgia food pantries. And meanwhile, you've got both Georgia senators, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, have now voted 8 times against paying those heroes. In Washington, the state of Washington is home to 57,000 active duty personnel. It is the 7th most in the country. And those stationed at Fairchild Air Force Base and Naval Base Kitsap, Joint Base Lewis McChord, and others will miss paychecks.
I want to say this to everybody because I love this, what's coming out. Because I would never expected this from this guy. Representative Jeffries wants to publicly debate Speaker Johnson, which is great because, again, they're going to dig themselves a hole. But I want to see the backbone from Mike Johnson actually debating Representative Jeffries. Let me know if you'd love to see this because I think it would be awesome. And again, too, to expose everybody. It's all about exposing. Lori Rapier, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Member of the channel said, hi, chat. I've been on vacation a ton. Glad to be live with you guys. I love it. Show Lori some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much for your support, Lori.
Washington senators, Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell, have repeatedly voted against pay for service members in the Evergreen State. Hawaii is home to 43,000 active duty personnel. It is the 8th most in the country. Those stationed at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, the Schofield Barracks, and others will miss paychecks. And both Hawaii senators, Mazie Hirono and Brian Schatz, have voted against paying soldiers stationed in Hawaii. And by the way, many of them are thousands of miles away from their families. Colorado is home to 35,000 active duty personnel, the 10th most in the country. And those stationed at Fort Carson, Buckley's Space Force Base, Peterson's Space Force Base, and others will miss paychecks. And you guessed it, both Democrat senators are from Colorado. John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennett have voted against paying those troops in their state. And I just want to mention New York. It gets honorable mention. It isn't in the top 10. But the Empire State is home to 17,000 active duty personnel, the 17th most in the country. Those stationed at Fort Drum and Fort Hamilton and others will miss paychecks. And sadly, both New York senators, Kirsten Gillibrand and the architect of the shutdown himself, Chuck Schumer, can barely hide their delight that the government is closed and troops are not being paid. I will just say this. There's something that should be remembered by everyone. Democrats say that even missed paychecks for U.S. troops won't be enough to end this shutdown. The Democrats, who we just demonstrated, represent thousands and thousands of the most heroic men and women on the earth, refuse to put their unserious partisan demands to the side and pay the troops. And here are the indisputable facts of this shutdown. Republicans want to pay the troops, and we have shown that with our actions and our votes now 9 times. And the Democrats want to use them as hostages to extort $1.5 trillion in new unserious partisan spending that we just won't go along with. We won't sell out the long-term security and future of the United States so that Chuck Schumer can prevent a primary challenge from his left wing. We will not be a part of that nonsense.
And again, everything that you're seeing, like there is so much that's going on today with this chart, going on with the Supreme Court eliminating race-based districts from the Supreme Court. Look how much, look, right now is the current map on the left. Look what happens as soon as you eliminate race-based districts. How much more red is the United States of America? That is the true United States of America. Not fake, not gerrymandered. This is what we're ready to see, and this is what Democrats are so afraid of. Look at this, everybody, because I'm telling you, I bring the receipts, the polling, all this stuff is a big, big win for MAGA.
2018, right? Because that's sort of the baseline. That was, of course, the first Trump term. That was where Democrats were sort of keeping pace. You go back to April, look at the generic congressional ballot. What'd you see? You see +3 Democrats in 2025 in April. You see +3 Democrats back in April of 2017. Now jump over to this side of the screen. What happens? Well, the Democrats are no longer keeping pace with the pace that they were setting back in 2017, 2018. You look back in 2017, you saw that the Democrats had leaped up to an 8-point advantage. I remember covering this. I remember a lot of folks, including myself, saying, you know what, Republicans look pretty decent right now in terms of the fact that they had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency, but things were likely going to flip. And I was looking for the same signs this year. The bottom line is it hasn't happened, Kate Baldwin. It hasn't happened. Democrats have stayed basically steady. They have fallen off the pace. Democrats were way out ahead back in 2017 on the generic congressional ballot. And now we're basically looking at Democrats ahead. But again, they are so far in back of the pace that they set back there. And so I think what a lot of folks are seeing, folks like myself, are saying, wait a minute, given what we might be seeing in redistricting, is this +3 going to be enough, Kate Baldwin?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. One change from that cycle is also this mid-decade redistricting effort that we've been covering so much. You add that in, and what do you get?
Okay, so we add that, and we take a look at the national picture, but then we, of course, taking a look at the state legislators, right? They are potentially changing things, and there are two things that are going on here. First off, net mid-decade redistricting gains. If both sides max out at this point, there are more Republican gains possible than Democratic gains. Yes,
I appreciate this so much. If you appreciate it, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up like button, guys. This is so much good news today. We are just blowing this out the water, exposing all the bad, corrupt, evil in the Democratic side. Glow, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said Dems lefties act like little 2-year-olds over cookies. 100% show. Glow, member of the channel and moderator as well. Thank you so much for your support. Our boy Robert Cash with the super chat said, let's do a donation for the military so they can get the money to help with their needs. Amen. Robert, we can make that happen. I love it. Show Robert some love in the chat, as well as Nadine Jones. Thank you so much, Nadine. You're awesome. Member of the channel said, Dems are acting worse than a spoiled child. 100%. 100%. Again, the true Democrats are coming out. They're not America first, and they don't know how to lead. Show Nadine, Robert Cash, and Glow some love in the chat.
Democrats might try to counter a Texas and a California, but you go along in the different states, and basically Democrats run out of room where Republicans are able to gain and gain and gain. If both sides max out, we're probably looking at a GOP gain of +7 House seats. That doesn't even take into account the potential gutting of the VRA that is right now going to be in front of the Supreme Court. If you add that in, you could be looking...
The Voting Rights Act.
What? Yes, exactly right. The Voting Rights Act. If you add that in, then you could be looking about adding 10, 12, 15, 17 on top of this 7 seats. So I think a lot of folks like myself are looking at this. We're seeing, hey, wait a minute. Those national polls are, Democrats are not gaining the way that we expected.
And I'm telling you, this is big, big wins for MAGA. Finally, we're like, this is gaining such steam. This is, a lot of people are saying that Trump is literally becoming one of the greatest presidents ever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Listen to this.
Yes, sir.
I'm having a ball.
I think people need to be reminded. You balance the budget 4 straight years. It has not been balanced since.
Nope.
Okay. You had a big fight to get there.
Yep.
I remember the argument. You're going to reduce the rate of growth of Medicare. 7% a year, every year, for 7 years, twice the rate of inflation. Am I doing well so far?
You're doing great.
Okay. And they said, he's cutting, he's cutting, he's cutting. You weren't cutting. Same thing in this case.
Right. The number one thing for Republicans to remember is that other than Reagan, who was a former Democrat, and Trump, who's a former Democrat, Republicans generally don't communicate very well. And we have the arguments. I think Mike Johnson's doing a good job. But every Republican should learn the key arguments, repeat them ad nauseum, stop reporters, as the vice president did brilliantly the other day, when they're saying falsehoods, just cut them off and say that's false.
Did you see George Stephanopoulos? He shuts his mic, then takes a cheap shot, and then keeps going, and then doesn't let the vice president of our country talk.
Right. Because they can't. Because the fact is, they are now crazy. What they're doing is nuts. I try to point out to people, you have two Democratic leaders in the House and Senate. They live 1.5 miles apart. They're $15 Uber visit, okay? And they live in a city which is about to elect a big government socialist with weird values. Now, that's the world they live in. So they're doing things that in that world sound really cool.
Right.
In the whole rest of the country, which is pretty big, they look like they're nuts.
Well, there's a lot of red in this country. The president mentioned that today.
More than there used to be.
A lot more. Okay, so here we are. I remember I was there the night you became speaker.
Right.
I was the MC of your event. It was a great honor of my life. Really catapulted me, you know, into a pretty good career.
Yeah.
And you foundationally, you had renewing American civilization. And you also taught Republicans how to communicate. Donald Trump is out there every day communicating with the American people. We haven't seen that in the last 4 years. Is it working? Is it effective?
Well, I think, look, he's changed the whole culture. I mean, the truth is, and I follow a guy named Seth Keshel, who's the best student of voter registration in America. We have gained almost 2 million new Republicans since Trump was elected.
They lost about, I think we gained 3, they lost 2.
Yeah, it's amazing. So there's a steady slide in our direction because Trump isn't just a political figure. Trump's a cultural figure. Trump is saying really bold, radical things like there are men and women. People should be promoted based on merit. Criminals should be in jail and innocent citizens should be on the street. I mean, there are a number of these radical ideas.
The border should be secure.
That's right.
Taxes should be lower.
I mean, all these things, you know, Americans ought to be treated fairly in international trade. What he just did yesterday, I thought was, Cliff and I watched all day, I thought it was the most amazing thing I think I've ever seen an American president do. You go to Jerusalem in the morning, they're all wearing hats in the Knesset about Trump as the president of peace. Then you fly down to Egypt in the afternoon. You have 27 leaders of countries who go through a photo op. Trump stands there, the next one comes up, they chat for a minute. What people need to realize is he knew every person who was coming up.
You know, it's remarkable. I remember once you said, I am a revolutionary.
Yes.
This is back when you were a speaker. And people took that it was shocking to them at the time. You were a very early supporter of President Trump.
Yes.
Big supporter of him winning this election.
Right.
And it's amazing. You said something to me before we started the show, and that is, as good as you thought he would be, I'll let you finish yours.
Well, I think he's been at least 3 times more effective.
Than you ever expected.
Than I ever expected.
And you knew he'd be effective.
Well, I thought he would be remarkable. But this puts him, I think, in a league with Washington and Lincoln.
Ooh.
Because it's the totality. I mean, this is a guy who every day is doing 6 things. I've concluded, you'll love this, I've concluded it's because he's a Gemini. Geminis are twins. One twin is totally focused on today, and the other twin is doing strategic planning. Mm-hmm. And you never know which one's showing up.
And in the meantime, he's redecorating the White House every day.
Well,
I passed the auto pen today that he put up for Biden's picture. It was great.
Think about this. And this, I give Jared Kushner some credit here. In May of 2016, speaking to AIPAC, Trump outlined a vision of peace in the Middle East. That's 2016. 9 years later, he's developing the reality. Now, that is a level of strategic discipline and strategic commitment that almost nobody gives him credit for.
He's so much smarter than the left knows, and he's 5 steps ahead. I never get to see my
I love it because, again, too, it's always about anticipating, playing chess. Let me tell you this. We show this stuff only because people need to see why we're such a proponent behind law and order. Paulette Gibson, who was arrested for stabbing 2 people and leaving them for dead, was just released from prison on a $20,000 bond. So if you don't know anything about bonds, $20,000 bond, we don't know if that is the actual bond where in a bond you only pay 10%. So $2,000 after stabbing 2 people, leaving them for dead, has a mind-blowing 15 prior arrests, including for violent offenses. She's back on the streets today. Tell me, this is where the Democrats base. This is what they try to defend, soft on crime policies. I'm sick of it. I'm just wondering, when are we actually going to get some truth and actually hold people accountable? Because if you had a 3 strikes rule, this wouldn't happen. Streets would be a lot safer. America would be a lot safer. This is something that I 100%, I want to hold people accountable. Listen to this, y'all, because I'm telling you, the next thing that's coming up. Angry Squirrel, welcome to the family. Let's go. Show Angry Squirrel some love in the chat, everybody. I love that name. Listen to this.
With Trump on everything, but he's not afraid to admit when Trump's right. It's called honesty. They should try it sometime. Senator Ted Cruz joins me now. Have you ever seen the left infight like this?
Look, they're melting down. Their party consists of one thing, and that is hatred towards Donald J. Trump. And by the way, we saw an amazing illustration of it yesterday. So we've got historic Middle East peace, and just about every Democrat on planet Earth, except for Bill and Hillary Clinton, could not bring themselves to say the words Donald J. Trump. I'll actually give credit, something I've never done before, but I will give credit to Bill and Hillary Clinton. Both of them put out gracious statements congratulating President Trump and his administration, but nobody else did. Barack Obama insufferably could not even acknowledge it, and just about every single Senate Democrat and congressional Democrat. Apparently Trump didn't exist, and the Middle East peace deal just emerged from the head of Zeus like Athena. That's where it came from.
What happened to Barack Obama?
Look, I think he is, number one, incredibly arrogant and aloof, but number two, hard left. And you look at, listen, Joe Biden was not president for the last 4 years. He was not capable of it. He was not running. Question I get asked most often for years was who's running the White House?
Me too.
Here's the terrifying answer. I genuinely do not know. My best theory, I think it was Barack Obama and his cronies. But look, the Biden White House was by any measure massively to the left of where Obama was. But I don't think that's because Obama wasn't in crazy town. I just think the country wasn't ready to go all the way to crazy town. What has happened is Trump became president. And any semblance of moderate Democrats fled. And they're all now crazy. Look, you know, Stephen A. Smith was talking about Republicans want Jasmine Crockett on TV. Absolutely. And I want Bernie Sanders on TV and Elizabeth Warren on TV and AOC on TV because what they're saying is nuts. Their ideas are terrible.
I want them on TV too, maybe for different reasons, but kind of the same types of reasons.
Let me tell you this, everybody. The stuff that we're bringing you today, this is no joke. And this matters so much, y'all, because if there's anything that I fight for, and if there's anything that I stand for, is helping the innocent, especially kids. Because they didn't ask to be born, and they didn't ask to be put in bad situations. It's adults that have made bad choices. But I'm so happy to say that AG Pam Bondi and Sean told Sean Hannity that the Trump administration found 44 missing children in Memphis as a result of its crackdown on crime in the city. And just thinking, like, I bet you those families are so thankful Trump did what he did to go and make things safe, put America first. And it makes me super happy because I just think, like, I could not imagine. But this is where I thank our people that are fighting for doing what's right, fighting against the corruption and the evil. And we want to make sure we continue to overcome evil with good. This is beautiful. 44 missing children found in Memphis as a result of the crackdown in crime in the city.
Jasmine Crockett, AOC, you don't see these women walking around. Have you ever met these women?
Never met AOC, never met Jasmine Crockett.
Do you guys not hang out in the same establishments?
Hey, you know, I'm not sure what establishments they're at. Look, the House and Senate don't interact a ton. I've got a bunch of buddies that are House members, but they tend to be House Republicans. So I'm not palling around with the squad a whole lot.
If you see the squad, or if you ever saw the squad, would you say, hey, it's Ted Cruz, how you doing, ladies?
Look, I try to be gracious to anyone. You know who I've never met? I've never met Hillary Clinton.
You're a lucky man.
I
hear she's dangerous.
I have been near her during a State of the Union where she was there, but I've never met her. But you know what? Look, the Democrat Party today has become a caricature. They've forced a shutdown, not on substance. Yes, it's because they want free health care for illegals, but it's really just because all of their party is a giant primal scream, we hate Donald Trump.
Well, you shouldn't pay them. They should go without paychecks. I'm sure you could miss a few paychecks.
And by the way, I've informed the clerk of the Senate, I won't take my paycheck while we're shut down.
Good.
The servicemen and women aren't being paid. I don't want to be paid. And every one of these Democrats are saying, give me the money. We're not going to give it up.
That's the right attitude. You should make that a thing. Good to see you, Senator.
Good to see you.
I'm telling you, and that should be the thing. It's crazy to think that people that can't manage a budget still get paid, even though it's their dang fault that things shut down. And it's all back to this, guys. This is about as disgusting as it gets. Democrats are trying to fight Trump on using tariff revenue to pay for military troops. Like, are you kidding me, man? Like, you literally, if you didn't think they could get any worse on their principles and their morals, why would you not want to pay the military using tariff revenue? And this is the evidence, y'all. Jeffrey Hat, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go, brother. OG of the channel said prayers for those 44 children and all the ones we have not found. Love True Life News. We love you too, Jeffrey. Show Jeffrey some love in the chat, everybody. It just bothers me because, again, too, the more that we fight this, the more that we expose this, it is just one thing after another. One thing after another, everybody. And I'm sick and tired of just all of this. Just, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even common sense.
Let's talk about the overall problem. And I contend that if you don't have law and order and safety and security, you can't pursue happiness. 4,000 dead under Pritzker. What's your reaction to him?
Yeah, he is apoplectic that Donald Trump wants to come in and help Chicago and fix Chicago and make Chicago safe. Going back to Memphis, you gave the great stats on Memphis. You know how many missing children we found in Memphis? 44. Finding one missing child makes it all worthwhile. 44 missing children.
By the way, what is a missing child?
A missing child is a missing child who's been taken away from their parents, abducted children who are on their own, all under the age of 18. Teenagers and younger, 44 missing children. Some have been taken by non-custodial parents, but 44 have been recovered. Finding one is enough to make it all worthwhile. And then you take that to Chicago. They had 571 homicides last year. Pritzker should be begging Donald Trump to come in. And you know, what you said about Memphis, we have Mayor Paul Young working with us. He's amazing. He's a Democrat. He wants to make Memphis safe. Right here in D.C., Sean, look how safe D.C. is now because of Muriel Bowser working with Donald Trump. Metro Police, Transit Authority Police, right here, working with all of our federal agents hand in hand, and our National Guard. Pritzker's lost his mind.
I've been here all day. It's a discernible difference.
Thanks to Donald Trump.
It is a discernible difference. It's a very different place. So the president, I guess he talked about if they will not enforce the law, if they will not keep American citizens safe in towns and cities, that it may result in him invoking the Insurrection Act. Let's talk about the legality of that.
Sure. He absolutely has the right to do that, the legal authority to do that. We didn't have to do it in Los Angeles. They came in, they cleaned up the riots. You saw, look how much better LA is after the president brought in the National Guard. But look at Portland, look at Chicago. They're sanctuary cities, they're sanctuary states. They are forbidding in Chicago, this mayor, Brandon Johnson, is forbidding the police to work with ICE to get illegal aliens off the streets. Here's one example. There was an illegal Mexican in Chicago. He should have been in prison. illegally there. He was in prison. He got released from prison. Instead of being deported, they kept him right there, and he beat a 21-year-old to death. In Chicago. How are they condoning this behavior?
Did you see?
That's the part they never say, everybody. Right there. How many lives have been lost because of criminal illegals? And it's sad. It's disgusting. Governor Pritzker, when is he ever going to be held accountable? Like, it just blows my mind. Mayor Brandon Johnson, when are you going to be held accountable because this person lost their life because you had somebody here that wasn't even supposed to be here? Even like what you're seeing on the screen. These migrants were arrested for literally ramming a vehicle into ice. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, it's insane. But you know what? People need to see this. They need to see the truth. Thomas Crosby, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. Show Thomas some love in the chat, member of the channel. Want to say if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed already, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to serve you. So much is going on. And we want to do our part to bring the truth, but also to do good. So that's when I say thank you to all of our members. To those that give a super chat donation, remember, we partner with you. And on the 22nd of every single month, we donate to a local charity live on stream. You see the receipt, everybody. And we're bringing good into this world. I want to give some special love to Steve Martoni today. Our boy Jeffrey Hatt. PDX67 for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Give PDX67 some love in the chat for a gifted membership. Joghaws 1. Michelle Eisner, thank you so much, Michelle. Deborah Gomez, thank you so much. Sweet Kitten. Funny Girl, let's go. Show Funny Girl some love in the chat. As well as PDX67 for the super chat. Monique Sanderson, thank you so much. Midnight Toker, welcome to the family. Our boy Jim Barbado, love it. OG of the channel, show Jim some love in the chat, as well as Gator Presley, member of the channel. Thank you so much, Gator Presley. Patrick Trebet, thank you so much. Lori Rapier, Glow, Robert Cash, Nadine Jones, show them some love in the chat, as well as Angry Squirrel and Thomas Crosby. We cannot thank you enough, everybody. Y'all are awesome. We're here to serve you. Thank you so much for sharing our videos on X, on Facebook, all across the board. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.